Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Sakina right here again. Thank you so much for subscribing if you've subscribed. And if you've not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Just go click on that subscribe word down there to subscribe. Then don't forget to click on the bell that's next there to be able to receive notifications whenever I upload my videos. So today I'd like to share with you my experience in the airplane, like what happened during my first flight. So you guys, yoga right here has ever flew. Is it flew or flown? She has ever flew. Oh God, is it flew? Is it flew or flown? Comment down there for the right word. Okay, I've ever used an airplane. I've ever used it twice. It was to and fro. Yes. That was in 2022 when I went to Saudi Arabia. My first flight was when I went to Saudi Arabia in 2022. Then the second flight was when I was coming back from Saudi Arabia to Uganda. So now, my first experience in the plane was like this. So you know these things, It's a story time. Yeah, it's a story time. So these things here of the airplane, I think I used to just, when we were still young, when the airplane passes up in the, how do I call it? When the airplane used to pass up there in the skies, let me call it the skies, we could sit where we were, like those years when we were still young, when our grandparents were still alive. We sit and we say bye bye M7, because we were born in M7's regime. It's done we know. So whenever an airplane would pass, we think it's the president passing. Passing, so we're like bye bye M7, bye bye M7. You can't know that one time you'll travel, or you'll travel using an airplane, or like us. But when you're growing up, sometimes you're like, I want to be a pilot. I'll do this, I'll do that. But when you grow up, there's where life shapes you, and what you used to think about doesn't even come real, or things like that. Now, the night before we went, because when you're at the company that takes girls to Saudi Arabia, of course, during when you're about to go, you go and start residing at the accommodation. Now for us, we had the accommodation, everything was done, our travel documents were prepared and all that. We did different, like we signed, the next of kin came and signed to permit the person to go, medical was done, everything was done. Now, as we're heading towards going, of course, there's a way that anxiety comes, like you're so curious and so excited about the whole thing. Now, the night before we went, before we flew, of course you can know your friends whom you're going to go with, because as you're doing every process, you're with them. Now, that night before we went, I remember I called and they sent me money for buying chicken there. It's like Chilomo in high school. If you remember high school, Chilomo, that last night before you get holidays the next day, you can want to eat everything. So this time we called home. I remember I called a friend of mine. He sent me some money for chicken, for everything, because people were buying things. So we went to the Connect Center, we bought things, we gave out some things to the girls who were still around, like soap and whatever sugar that remained, things like that. And by this time we had packed our bags ready to go, and with things that we were supposed to use when we went to Saudi Arabia, what the company had told us to buy. Now, that night we bought things we ate. Now, the night before that Chilomo, everybody was so excited. What we were promising ourselves? We're like, he was so stubborn. We're like, now, when we're in the plane, all of us were like, we sat there and we're like, now, when we go in the plane, everybody was promising to at least reach the toilet of the aeroplane. Yeah, but like, even if there's nothing pending me, or there's nothing supposed to come out, even if I don't want to pull up, I have to reach the toilet. And we're so eager to reach the toilet of the what? Of the airplane. So we're promising ourselves. Now the day reached for going to the airport. I remember the supervisor, one of the workers of the company, came. He took us to the airport. They hired a coaster. We were many girls. When we were about to enter the coaster, we stood and took photos there. Then we entered the coaster. Even people had remained with their money, they gave out to the driver and his stand man money, any coin of Uganda, because when you go that side, You're not going to use it anywhere immediately. You can keep it, then come back with it maybe to Uganda to use it. But once it's the other side, the other currency of course doesn't work. Now, we went in the Costa took us to the airport. When we reached there, we were very many. From my company, the Costa was full, plus other girls were. People are moving there and we're going to Saudi Arabia. With the airport, people were very many, girls were many, and other travelers, of course. So we used Air Arabia. The plane was called Air Arabia. It's the one we used. They checked us. Our supervisor helped us on most things, like you read the counter and more things are done. Then we went into the plane. We made sure that we sit, like we were many, we sat, one full section was almost full of girls from my company. Now when we were inside there, we were excited. We even didn't know what we were going for. For us, we knew we were going for housemaid. But we were so excited as if people don't come back from there and they're crying. Or as if people reach there and be happy forever. We went in the plane. We sat. Remember, we were very many. Then we were like, people began singing songs. You know, when girls, kadamas, when they are near each other, the excitement, I don't know where it comes from. We were very happy, as if we have hit the jackpot. We began singing, Katonda, yabadde mwene songa. Katonda, yabadde mwene. So we sang that song. You know, through certain time we were there, I think they were feeling irritated. But we were there, we were so happy. Then when we were there, everything was done. The plane stood, like began. Then we flew. When we were inside, we were frequenting the what? The toilet to fulfill what we thought, like what we had wanted. I have to see the toilet of the airplane. Now when we went, our first destination was, we didn't go direct to Saudi Arabia. We had a stopover in Dubai. We went there to Dubai. We slept at Dubai airport there. Then the next morning, because we traveled for like 4 hours, 6 hours to 4 hours, around there, to Dubai. Then from Dubai to Saudi Arabia was like a 1.5 hour or 2 hours journey. The next day, we went to Saudi Arabia airport. Now we boarded again to Saudi Arabia. When we reached Saudi Arabia, immediately we reached like this, we got out, we went into that clearance gundi at the airport to clear us. Now when they were clearing us, remember as you're going, you have your ticket with you and your passport, and your passport where the visa is stamped in the passport. Now when we went, we cleared us as we were coming out like this, because we were going, my group that we went, we had a master. I think only 2 girls went direct. Then the rest of us, we went, but we didn't go direct to houses. We had to again get client that was a company, like a company that was supposed to sell us to clients. So these companies, I think I explained, you can go direct to a client's home, you can reach the airport where the client is waiting for you, or directly to go to the house. Or you first go through a small company, they clear you to know that you've reached, then the client comes immediately and picks you. Or you reach when you don't have a client, but you're going to another company in Saudi Arabia that will help you get a client when you're with them. So it's like more of trading. You reach there, then you go to the accommodation, then they start now putting you on websites. Like people come to buy, they take you to see if you qualify, like that. So that's how for me I went and my colleagues. Now we reached, as we're finishing to clear like this, like getting out, company in Saudi Arabia, it was called Jadara. It had sent the driver with their vehicle for Jadara. So we reached when the driver was waiting for us. Then they wait for you. You finish, come out, as you're coming out like this, you find them there. Because you already know uniforms of the company in Uganda, so it's easy to identify. Now when you reach like this, the guy of Jadara already knew the uniform and how we dressed. He just came, oh, you're coming to Jadara, you're from this, yes. Told him the company we're from in Uganda. Then immediately he started collecting the passports from us. You cannot own your passport once you're in Saudi Arabia. It's rare unless you have maybe you're on director and you have a good boss who trusts you. But now here with the company, the company takes your passport. Now, which immediately they collected our passports. Then they said, go there in the vehicle. You people, when we got out of the airport of Saudi Arabia like this, it was like we were just moving in the, like going from a cool place, like from a cool place to the oven. Outside was hot. I thought, well, there is something wrong. To ask, they say, this is how Saudi Arabia is. It was hot. I began even sweating immediately. Then from there, we just moved to the vehicle and they took us direct to the what? To the company.